This is just a bunch of lines. But your brain, part of your brain is, no, it isn't. I see what it is. I recognize it. So, you know, when you look at a cloud and you see a bunny or a shape, no, it's still a cloud. But your brain, that's what we do. We look for patterns. We recognize and name things to simplify them, to create the symbol. Here, I want you to forget about the thing that you think you see and just focus on the shape of those lines. And that is the challenge. Can you forget that when you're starting to do this line, you don't use the word horse leg and then just do, usually what happens is what you think a horse leg looks like, not the simple shape of the lines that you see here, blocking out that concept of having to name it. All right, so let me start the clock, 15 minutes. We may be done faster than this. Now, where you select to start is also a big deal. Make sure it's going to fit in your page. And I want you to make it as big as possible too. Fill up the page. So I'm going to start right here. And I kind of get a sense that that is the middle of the page. So I'm going to go to the middle of the page. And I'm just going to go ahead and follow the line, trying to get a good sense of, notice how here these meet. I could decide to go this way into the other shape, or I could continue with the contour. So we begin to deal with something that's called negative space. And that negative space means the space between the things you're looking at or your subject. So the struggle all along is going to be for you to stay focused. How do I stay focused on the shape, the actual shape of those lines? How do I battle? How do I win the battle of control between me thinking I know what it looks like and taking a shortcut and actually looking for the right angle, right length, right shape of line and being able to deliver it? So you notice, I want to point something out. If you do see it, I'm going to fill in this little area. If you can tell where I am, does this shape that I didn't draw, because I was drawing the other thing, but as I draw this line and this line, then all of a sudden I have this shape. That's what I call the negative space. Does this look like the one on the reference? I could begin to see it easier. So instead of me looking at the actual shapes of the line, also the shapes outside of those lines is what's important. Now, can I go back to another area and start there? Yes, you're going to be able to select where you feel comfortable, where you want to take that hike, and how to put and piece them together. You're beginning to get a sense of the relationship between these, the way these lines interact with each other. So, higher, taller, shorter, angles, all of those things are beginning to also be a part of your thought process. Now, does this one here, is it higher, a little shorter than, for example, this, where this one meets here? So you visualize relationships between other areas. So you're beginning to deal with the whole image, not just pieces of it. And I always love to bring it up. It's kind of like putting together a puzzle. You're making sure, sometimes you know that piece goes there. Sometimes you think that piece goes there and you try to force it in. And you're going to force it in, but it doesn't want to go in there because it's not the one that goes there. But you push it until you break it. Or you bend it. And you could make it fit in there. But it's not going to look right. That's kind of what we're doing here. We're taking little pieces and putting them together little by little. So the puzzle, in the end, comes together like magic. So every little piece, we want to pay good, close attention. And I hope you're looking at both of those things. So not just the line, but for example, once again, I'm going to pencil it in. Do you see this shape? If you've drawn that shape, does it look like the shape? And I mean right here. I could actually close it out. So does it look like that triangular or squarish type of shape that belongs in this space? Does it have that nice pointy angle here that has a dip and then a more straightforward? So see, I catch myself here with a mistake where I see a little tilt to this line that should have been more vertical. So all those little things, as you go along, you're going to catch yourself. Not going to erase. This is not about erasing and then redoing. No, just want to get it in one pass and have a good sense of how it is you were looking. Now, I use another, and this may be tricky, but hang in there with me. When I say 12 o'clock or 3 o'clock, an image comes to your mind, and that is the angle of, not if you're looking at a digital clock, but an analog clock. 3 o'clock means right here, horizontal. 12 o'clock means upright, vertical. If I say 6 o'clock, well, that's a vertical down this way. But everything in between, when I say 10 o'clock. Now, for example, this line that I just drew here, was this 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, or 6 o'clock? I know it's not 6 o'clock. I know it's not 3 o'clock. So is it closer to 4 or 5 o'clock in terms of the angle of it? That is one of those, subconsciously, I have it in my mind all the time when I run into one of those lines that gives me a little bit of trouble. And those are the lines that make or break most of our drawings. How we capture the angle of them, how we're able to capture it, and as humans, this is tested and proven, we don't like diagonals. Diagonals mean chaos. They mean movement. It means it's falling. So we naturally, it's a natural instinct, we tend to either straighten them up or flatten them out. We want them resting horizontally or standing solidly vertically. So every line that we see diagonal, we have a tendency to flatten it out or push it upright. So big thing to watch out for. Now, my tip to counteract that is what you see, have a mindset of go ahead, exaggerate it. By exaggerating it, you're kind of being biased towards the way it actually should be. Now, how much do I exaggerate? Well, that's up to you. For example, this line right here, very key line. If I don't capture the angle of it, it's going to be off. And it goes into another angle and then another angle. And I can always kind of simplify them. Now, I should have mentioned this at the beginning. You do not flip this page over until it's over. Don't cheat yourself. It's always a great big surprise when we flip the page over. And I want you to savor that. It's coming. Only 7 more minutes. And are we going to make it? It's not a race either. Don't worry if you did not make it all the way. You could always go back. Try it again with the video. So what am I looking at? The line? Am I looking also at the negative space, shapes, and drawing a combination of both of them? I'm beginning to speed it up a little, so I want to slow down. Now, another thing that may be affecting my drawing right now, and I just became aware of it, is my posture. If I'm flat on a table and I'm looking at it at an angle, there's always a distance issue. I'm closer to this part than this part. So there may be the way I draw the lines according to how I'm seeing them on the table. Posture wise, you want to be drawing perpendicular so your eyes are equal distance from this and this side of the paper. So it could become an issue. It could easily become an issue where we begin to feel like we're losing proportion. And then it's going to show very clearly if we are taking shortcuts. And if we are taking shortcuts, how big are those shortcuts? And I'm not saying taking shortcuts it's wrong. I'm saying, is that what you want? Because sometimes we're not even aware that we're taking those shortcuts. So we want to become aware so we can, if we need to, fix it. How come it doesn't look like the thing and I want it to be more this? Okay, there's one thing. Are we taking shortcuts? So this is going to show us. That's why you don't want to bring an eraser or be fixing it as you're moving along. Think of it as a kind of a self-test to truly see how you are looking at things. And I see things that I'm beginning to. We still have 4 minutes. I'll give you guys 1 more minute as I flip it over. And there it is. Oh, wow. Actually, it looks way better than I was expecting. So, for me, I'm going to pick apart things, angles, corrections in terms of shapes of lines. But overall, the reading of the shape of the lines and the negative space, that's where you want to place your focus, your interest. Don't judge this drawing as a good drawing, bad drawing. What you want to judge, what you want to critique, it's not even judge, it's critique. How fast or slow, how the quality of the line and the shapes of the lines came together. And then you can, kind of pinpoint things. Okay, so do I recall? And it's part of experience, how you're going to be paying attention next time you run into a thing like this. So what was I thinking? What happened here? Did someone enter the room and talk to me when I was here and that's what distracted me? So I had trouble connecting again or whatever it is. That's part of the job.